Thanks for checking out this week's Fastest 4 Minutes in Finance. I'm Scott Inman. Every week, I scour financial news websites, financial services media, and our own internal information from LPL Financial to come up with the subject of this report. Now, as I was doing that this week and trying to decide if I would write about the possibility of a debt ceiling default or about how many CEOs of S&P 500 companies are now talking less about recession and what that might mean about the direction of our economy, I realized this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Now, I knew it was Memorial Day weekend already because I've got family plans for a weekend of food and fun around the swimming pool. But I hadn't stopped to reflect on why it is Memorial Day weekend. And so when I did, I felt like it was time to hit the pause button on what we normally talk about on the Fastest Four. You probably know that Memorial Day is always observed on the last Monday in May and was established to honor the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. But here's what I didn't know. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, 3 years after the Civil War ended, the head of an organization called the Grand Army of the Republic, which was made up of Union veterans, established Decoration Day. It was meant to be a time for Americans to decorate the graves of those who died in the war. A day in late May was chosen, possibly because it would be a good time for flowers to be in full bloom. That became Memorial Day, but as we know it, it didn't become an official federal holiday until 1971. So what does all this have to do with finance? Well, that depends on your perspective. Both my grandfathers served in World War II. They both made it back home. And I think about how fortunate I am that they came home to help my grandmothers raise their kids, make sure they were educated, taught them work ethic, how to earn income, and even save for their future. In essence, chase the American dream. Their children became my parents and did the same for me. Think about how difficult, and much more difficult it was for those families who had a loved one that did not make it home. Beyond the mourning and the lasting hole that a family death leaves, there are generations of challenges to overcome. Of course, many did, and many still are, and they deserve to be honored as well. I also think about the continuing freedom that we have in this country to pursue our American dream. It is a result of the men and women who lost their lives in the battle to make sure this country exists. In our office, there is a chart of the stock market and its performance over the decades going all the way back to 1926. It shows how investing in stocks has historically been a great long-term decision, no matter what major crisis appeared that drove it down for a short period of time. Among the financial crises appearing on that chart are many crises like Pearl Harbor, D-Day, the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Persian Gulf War, 9/11. All these events caused short-term turmoil, but the market has since recovered and gone on to set new highs, creating more wealth for more people than any other thing in human history. This might have been different if the U.S. did not prevail from those conflicts. We prevailed for many reasons, but one of the biggest is because millions of men and women have been willing across those decades to lay down their life for this country. Many did lay down their life, and we all owe them our freedom, our way of life, and our financial opportunities. So this week, the debt ceiling, recession, and inflation can wait. This week, all of us at GenWealth would just like to say thanks.